Hello, and welcome to the Constance Messmer podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Hey, recently I asked in a poll, do you want to learn how to work with your chakras in regards to manifesting money or manifesting relationship? And overall, the answer was relationship. So I thought I'd address that right now. So traditionally, it is the sacral chakra that works with relationship. It has to do, that specific chakra has to do with relationships, sexual issues, creativity, and new beginnings. So predominantly, you would sit and kind of tune in your meditation time and source answers from that area of your body. The sacral chakra is a couple inches beneath your navel, and you would be like, all right, what's up? Do I have any blocks from other experiences, my past, my current past, this lifetime, or ancient past, other lifetimes, or what's happening here? Or kind of just looking at how you feel about relationship in general. But there are other areas of your energy system that you would want to consider also. You would want to obviously consider your heart chakra, because your heart talks to you about how you give and receive love. So that would be really important to look there. And it is, of course, at your heart, right? You would also want to get this, look at your throat chakra. I often found a lot of relationship issues unaddressed in the throat chakra. The throat chakra has to do with speaking your truth, trust issues, and communication. And so sometimes if they were having hiccups in regards to how they communicated with significant others or in a dating process or, in scenarios where, getting someone to understand how they felt about things or how they felt about things, if there were issues there at the throat chakra and communicating and speaking your truth, it would definitely affect the sacral chakra, relationships, sexual issues, creativity, new beginnings. Because if they didn't feel safe, right? Trust issues, communication, speaking your truth, if they didn't feel kind of safe in regards to sharing their innermost feelings, heart chakra, then it would muck up their relationships. So that was an interesting chakra to look at and kind of address and kind of source what's happening here. Where were they, having to sort out what they held back or what they felt comfortable communicating in regards to relationship, and why relationships were always like miss more than hit, right? So, just disconnect instead of connections. Another area of the chakras, another chakra that I would really look at wholeheartedly was those in the higher frequencies above the crown chakra, especially the Karmic chakra. Like sometimes in these areas, I would find kind of information on family lineage stuff, like where does their family stand on relationship? What was kind of witnessed? What did they witness growing up? How was the longevity of relationships in their family history? Now, certainly this could be looked at in any area of your energy system and not just within each of these chakras. So if you wanted to kind of address these issues or look at these issues or strengths or weaknesses, you could definitely sit in meditation time and say, how do I feel about relationship in general? What does it mean for me to be in relationship? Do I have to give up anything? Do I often kind of become the chameleon and be what they want me to be as opposed to who I truly am? Red flag, don't do that. People will love you for who you are and how you are. Trust that. You don't have to morph or conform to anyone's needs. That's like false, right? That's not being false. But that's not being true to yourself. That's being totally untrue to yourself. And you want to be true to yourself in relationship. Another area that I would look at in regards to chakras, believe it or not, is solar plexus, because that is also sacred contracts when it comes to who you are and what you came to do, personal power and self-esteem. And as you probably recognize, relationships is either going to feed or fuss with that part of you, right? So you want to make sure that that part of your being, your solar plexus, which is around just beneath where the rib cage comes together, right between the heart chakra and the sacral chakra, between your belly button and your heart chakra, is this area, the solar plexus. A lot happens there. We get a lot of gut feelings there, right, on a clairsensation level. But this is also, because it's personal power, self-esteem, who you are and what you came to do, you might want to source out what's happening there when it comes to relationship issues and manifesting with relationships. Once you've sorted through these areas of topics, where what topics that are stored in these specific chakras, it will be easier for you to manifest what you desire when you release any blocks there. So how would you necessarily work to releasing blocks there? Well, you'd sit and take the time to go over the topics that I've mentioned and realize where you stand with relationship. What did you watch your parents go through? What did you kind of promise yourself you'd never do, or what you want to do if it was, if you were witnessing great connection, stuff like that. Notice the patterns that you repeat that are not necessarily helpful, or the patterns that you've repeated that are helpful, right? I also feel that with chakras and with manifesting, you've heard me say this before. I know a lot of people feel like we really manifest from the sacral chakra, which is relationship, sexual issues, creativity, and new beginning. But I beg to differ. I think you can manifest from a lot of different areas in your being, energetically out of a specific chakra. But I beg to differ, because I think a lot more happens out of the solar plexus, because it's where we feel passion and energized, who you are, self-esteem, what you came to do, personal power, all of these things projected outward. So what I would suggest is you actually take the energy from your heart, or even from your mind, what it is you want, what it is you desire, writing these things out, moving it into your heart. How is that kind of connection in a relationship going to feed your soul, going to feed your vibrational experience, so that you're expanded, light and love, someone who truly gets you, understands you. Communication in relationship is important. You want to be able to be yourself and honor your words. And even when it gets mucky and murky, you want to be able to bring that to their attention and allow them to bring their stuff to your attention. I don't know how I'm going to say this, but it's uncomfortable to say, but I really want to say it because I want our connection deeper. So I'm going to talk about the tricky stuff. How do we speak to this and move through this? These kind of things. So put these all in your wish list of what you want in relationship, right? But move these thoughts that you've registered out on paper of, why do you want a really wonderful relationship? And what do you feel that it will feed? How do you feel it will feed your soul? And what do you want from it? For me, sometimes it's connection, it's love, it's enjoying time together, it's sharing the same experiences. Compatibility has to be big for me. I'm kind of a neat freak in some areas. Like my desk is usually a mess, but my home and my surroundings are really neat and tidy and beautiful, right? It doesn't mean I have a lot of beautiful things. It just means in those spaces I want beauty, because my mind is so constantly busy all the time that I need this sense of calm in my environmental surroundings. So when I chose my partner, it was important that we were compatible even in how we shared a home space, right? It's so funny. It was important that I could communicate these higher consciousness conversations with him, that he met me in those arenas. And I do the same with friends. Laughter's important. Write that down on your list. What do you want in relationship? You want laughter, you want connection. It was important that my mate also feels closely tied to family, because family is important to me. Put that down. It was important that we own our own home. Put that down. It's important that we saw the value of work, but also working our passion and our highest skills. Both of my husband and I both do that, where it was also important for me to contribute to the community or the environment or our causes, our justice and social causes. It was important that he was a giver. He's very much a giver. We both give time, talent, and treasure to causes that we feel we want to support. This was important. All of these little nuances of relationship, of you trying to find what you want in relationship, either with friendships or significant other. It's really important that you kind of know what you're willing to put up with and what you're not willing to put up with. because I think for me personally, as I get older, the frequency of the beings that I want to hang out with has shifted. Like it's got to be, not this constant wah, 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 whine, complain person. I can't do that. So it was important that my mate was a problem solver and a doer. I married a Capricorn. I have Capricorn rising. They're like, do. Some of it I'm like, just how about chill. I have Cancer North Node. Chill. Can we just be for a while? But he's a doer. So, noticing those moments that I need the cheerleader of a doer, or I need to just have my quiet time, that we can be together, but we don't need to talk, that we can just hang in the energy space of each other, enjoy a good movie or whatever. Put these things down. What is it that you desire? What would make your heart sing? As you sort through the different chakra centers of maybe things that have come up, like, how many lifetimes have I been wounded when it comes to relationship and love? Several, several. When have I been betrayed? Several. When have I been the betrayer? Yes, I have. And are there any of those that I need to look at? Or what does betrayal look like in this life to me? Where is that? And where do I draw the line? Monogamous relationship is for me. And so that's important. Know where are your parameters, where are your boundaries in regards to what you want. And therefore, then when you're ready to put the wish list together, the desire wish, the want list, the need list, I need this type of relationship because it will help me be my best possible self on the planet. I will be, resonating at a higher frequency. All will be right in my world, in the world, and that vibration will carry out into my friendships and my conversation and my business world and my personal life. And that's, that's the hope, right? Is living at this higher frequency so that when we have the hardships, that we can bring ourselves into those arena to understand like what's really happening or what do I need to get from this so that I can get out of this uncomfortable space, right? Because we go into uncomfortable spaces and we have some uncomfortable emotions. And I'm not saying push them away. I'm saying sort through them. And so sometimes it's really helpful to have a significant other, a mate or a friend that you can go to say, hey, I'm going through this rough patch. I just need to talk this out. Can you just witness and, just be ears. Don't be advice, just be ears. Or maybe today I could use some advice. I need more than just ears. I need to hear myself think out loud and I need it to land somewhere. And so can you kind of regurgitate back what you think you've heard? All of these things you can apply to desire in relationship so that then when you're ready to say, okay, I've sorted it all. I realize what I want and I don't want and why it's both are important in my needs. Respect was huge for me. It's huge for me. It's also important that people are humanitarians. I choose friends that are aligned with my truth and have the same values and the same principles, right? Because I don't want to spend my time having these exhaustive conversations of people that aren't awake and getting it, right? Like, I don't really do superficial well. I do some superficial times, but I like to have the deeper conversation, meaning of life stuff, all the cool stuff. How did you use your clairvoyance lately? Or, just all of those things, right? Listen, it's not constantly that for me, but there's enough of a mix that surface living is not my jam. It's not my jam, not in this life anyway, especially the older I get. And so all of these things I'm really clear on what I want from relationship, whether it be friendship or significant other. And when we have hiccups in relationships, when I have hiccup in my relationships, then I go back and say, okay, what's coming up for me? Is there a lesson in it for me? Or is it something that I need to bring as a conversation to the relationship? Listen, whatever. If I'm longing for more romance, is it because I've dropped the ball with romance? Or am I going, dude, I look great today. Tell me I look great. I need that love, right? Or whatever. And also too, how about that language is love language? What's their love language? I love that, but I've never really read the book, right? I don't even know all of them, but maybe you do. And so maybe that's important to you. I think it is definitely, an important place to see where do you meet when it comes to love. Maybe dancing's important. Going out and doing social things is important. Maybe you're not interested in social and you're more of a hermit, or you want to make sure you go for walks, or exercise is important, or, making meals together, or, whatever it is. Maybe game night's important. All of these things I want you to really chew on, right? You can throw them in your wish list if you want for the friend or mate, or just have them in the back of your mind when you connect with someone. Like, oh, where are their values? Where's their, calling in life? Or how do they live their happiness? Or are they more, am I going to spend my time trying to pick them up because they're just complaining? These kind of things. Hey, I want to tell you about my book, Some Dogs Talk. It teaches animal communication among the pages of paranormal, non-creepy fiction. But the stories of animal communication are actually based on a lot of personal experiences that I went through. It is designed to help the reader navigate their own experiences of all the different ways that we can communicate, not just with animals and our furry friends, but with others. I think you'll enjoy it. Get your copy today. And so how do you use these how do you use the awareness of these spaces within you, in your chakras that align with all of these different things that I've just been mentioning? How do you work with those to manifest relationship? Well, I would definitely encourage you to source information from each of the chakras that I've mentioned, and also decide whether or not, like, significant other, committed relationship is important to you. I think sometimes the grass is always greener, right? Sometimes people think they want something, but when they soul search their heart, they realize they don't really want something. They like their life exactly as it is. They don't need a significant other to share things with. They have plenty of friends and they like their quiet time. They like their space. They don't want to share that with anyone consistently or regularly. I think you also need to know thyself, right? So part of your soul searching when you're trying to manifest something is to look at, am I really asking for what I really truly want? Or is one of the blocks happening because I don't actually want it? What will it take for me to want that? Look at that. What will it take for me to turn that into a desire? Help me see my soul path, because I'm feeling like I want this as a desire, but I need to really clear the way so that I can recognize if I'm blocking it in any way. And so one of the ways I think we block it when we're trying to manifest from our energy center. So your chakras are just your, spiraling vortices of energy. And when all pulled together, it's your auric field and your energy system that promotes a vibration out to the world so that then you can receive what it is you're promoting out in thought and vibe, right? But one of the things that can happen is if we're giving the cosmos mixed signals. So it's like, that's why we're getting hit and miss, because we're thinking we're in alignment with our truth, but we're not really, because we haven't sorted all the aforementioned topics that I've told you about. And so we settle for less. And then we're like, oh, we settle for less. And then it goes for a while and then it doesn't work. And then we have a breakup or we get frustrated or whatever. And I always say, don't worry, because the next one will be better than the last one, right? Because hopefully we've learned or we've processed or that's why they're in alignment of the next one. Because for some reason that one didn't work out because they weren't the one. Otherwise it would work. I don't know how many times I had people coming to me going, are they the one? Are they the one? And I'm like, well, what do you think? Do you think they're the one? I don't ever want to take anyone's power, but I also would say, well, why are they not the one now? And then the person on the table or in my chair would say, well, maybe because, honestly, they're in another relationship. And then I'm like, well, dude, that's what you're telling the universe you're okay with, is being with someone that's not fully with you. So as long as you put up with that, you're sending mixed signals to the universe. So don't send mixed signals. So know thyself. What do you want? And also, what will it take for you to get there? I can't tell you how many people are like, I want to meet someone. I'm like, okay, well, what are you doing to get out to meet someone? And they're like, oh, I don't want to meet a drinker. So I'm like, okay, great. What are you doing? Well, I go to the bars. I'm like, okay, well, you're just telling me you don't want to meet a drinker. So how about you go to the yoga class or the rock climbing wall or join a book club at the library that's co-ed, or, decide what it is you'd like to do that you wish your mate would do, and go to those places where that person might be, tennis center or whatever it is, or a singles group hiking club or whatever. I'm like, how about you try that, or leave your house? How about you get out and leave your house instead of just binge watching TV or, romantic comedies? Those are my favorite movies. I love those. But you got to live it. You got to live it alive. And so it's recognizing, like, also too, what am I afraid of? What am I afraid of? What am I afraid of? Sometimes we're afraid of being vulnerable. We're afraid of that someone will really see us. And, what if what we wish for we're not good enough to achieve? Listen, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You are. You are. The cosmos, the universe, source energy wants you happy. And even if it means going into past life or your past, and how do you do that? You close your eyes and have a journal with you, and you close your eyes and you think, you can ask, help me go to my stuck points in relationship. I ask to be connected with my wise self. What do I need to know about relationship and having my relationship work better, or having the right relationship come to me? And then free write. Let whatever pour out of your soul and through your heart mind pour onto the pages. See what comes up. Follow the thoughts. Give yourself an hour and take 10 minutes. Who knows, whatever. But just unleash it all. Unleash all the blocks. Say, I want to write about the blocks. Now I want to write about the strengths. What do I believe? Do I believe it can come to me? Yes, 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 yes. Do I believe I'm meant to be happy in relationship? Yes, 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 yes. Do I believe I'm meant to, do this? Listen, when I was sorting out whether or not I wanted to have biological children, and in my 30s, I was like, oh, this is it. I feel that whole biological clock ticking. And then I tried, right? I tried with the assistance of in vitro. I think I told you that. And then I was like, you know what? This is not feeling right. And I had to honor those feelings. As much as I thought, God, that is really cool to carry a baby and hold a baby, and, the smell of yumminess, not the poop, but the smell of yumminess. I was like, golly, I would love that. But when I kind of reeled it back and I was like, what's coming up for me? And it was just this realization for me that it was not meant to be in this lifetime that I carried a child, that I was supposed to carry a child, that my children were already born on the planet, that I just had to find them. And I was like, wow, okay, that's kind of easy. No labor pains there. And so that's what I did. I had to come to the recognition of truth that my soul carried, that this was a lifetime that I would not bear children in that way. And I was like, how many lifetimes has that happened? And there were countless. There were countless that I didn't give birth to children. And so I had to kind of reconcile with that some things that I was hoping for was an impossibility in this life. And what I caution you with is to make sure you're discerning the voice of truth. Like when that information came to me about this was not going to be a lifetime of bearing children, I held it up and held it up and held it up to the light. Give me signs, give me messages, let me run into this friend that adopts kids, and I did all these things, right? All the signs came from the universe. And a knowing in my soul, just this feeling in my soul, like this is not where you're going to build relationship and have children, is biologically you're going to do it through adoption. You're going to do it on a soul level. And so I invite you to splunk and explore everything that comes up in your free writing time, in your soul unleashing the truth, and in your connectivity to clear sensation. How does it feel? clairsentiment? Are you having an emotional reaction? Does it feel like the vibration of truth and love? Watch the clairsentiment video, watch the sensation video to know more about that. To just really recognize when it's truth bubbling up. And then what you do with that to go from there. I could have gone in and said, can I break the soul contract that I chose not to have biological children in this lifetime? But it didn't feel necessary because I'm such a humanitarian. I was like, there's a lot of kids on the planet. Of course, this would be my agenda in this life. Of course, it would be to, there's a ton of kids, pick some, tons, right? That for whatever reason are available for adoption or, fostering kids or whatever. So it worked for me. Find your way, find what works for you. So no matter the relationship you desire, I think it's important and pertinent to go through the chakras to see what's kind of residing there and what's happening there from a soul perspective, right? From a soul perspective of what's this life supposed to be about for me? And are there any blocks or any experiences that I had in my youth that has held this at bay? Or do I have these repetitive thoughts that are actually giving mixed signals to the cosmos? My vibration feels clean. I've gone through the chakras. I'm ready to project out my heart in this way. But, and I've gone through my thought process. I know I'm like aligned with this is what I want in the wish list. Angels, divine right timing, help me find this. And then projecting that out as a love frequency, sending that out as an arc of light to say, I know someone else is searching for this, searching for this. You out there, wherever you are, find me too. I'm going to find you. We're going to create this arc of connection and find each other. And you set that up as a vibrational intention. And when I do that with people, I say send it out from your heart as a vibration of intention. So anytime you think of like finding your perfect mate or your perfect relationship, friend, whatever, send it out as an arc of light. And anytime you think about it, we're coming together. I see us together. And then follow your hits. You have to follow your soul senses, right? So if you get this hit, if a friend can't stop talking to you about a group or whatever, where it's a matching system and you get to put on your profile and all of a sudden the arena is this far and then you meet that person, or if you're called to go to a convention or a conference that just is like, God, it just seems really juicy. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to go. And then you go. And then all of a sudden you're sitting next to this beautiful soul and you're like, oh my God, I want to meet them. And then you start talking and they start talking to you. And next thing you know, there you are and you've met your mate and whatever. It's one of those things. You have to follow your soul senses, because when we desire something and want to manifest, it is a co-creative process that it comes together, right? So we put out the desire as a need. This is why I want to be in relationship. It will make me happy because I will be able to share my life with someone. And I want that right now for these and these reasons. And together, this great connection, this perfectly enough connection, will be making us both happy and vibrating at this greater frequency of, putting that into the grid on the planet energetically. And so when you've put that out as your desire and a manifestation, you have to pay attention to your soul senses that say, do this, or go into that store, or talk to that person, or, your friend that's been asking you to join them at their card club or whatever it is all these years. Take them up on that. And notice how it works out for you. Notice like, oh, that was me overthinking. I should do that. And really, it just, our guides and angels love to surprise us. And so a lot of times when it comes, it's how we least expect it. But if we track back, we're like, oh, I knew I was supposed to walk into that situation that day, or I kind of had a feeling about that person, all of these things. Now I'm asking, is there anything else I want to tell them about working with your chakras to manifest relationship? No, it's really splunking. You're watching hopefully you're watching or have watched the lessons on the chakras as many as you can. And there are more to come if you're watching this early on to my posting. And you'll go into and figure out strengths and weaknesses and sift through the weaknesses to empower yourself to live from a vibrational space of light and love, and not deny your feelings. Your feelings are your your kind of your guideposts to what's right and what's wrong in your world. So you need those. You need your feelings. It helps you, navigate your terrain and be true to yourself, because you got to be true to yourself, your authentic self. You know that, and be mindful in each moment. And so your feelings are going to warn you and remind you about being mindful and about choices that you're making that suit you and are good for you, even if it's doing things for others, right? I always do things for others, and it feels good. So all this. I'm asking Spirit, anything else? All is said and done. That's what I hear. I think that's good. I think that's really good. So good luck. I believe in you. I think that you got this. I know you do. And so just send out that arc of love light and draw them to you. Yeah. Okay. Great. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, Constance Messmer here. I just want to do a shout out of big thanks to all the members. I am so grateful, and all the people dropping in and giving little donations here and there and super thanks and all that stuff. I really appreciate you. You members and you people contributing and subscribers are what helped me bring this content to everyone, really. They both contribute to the cost of production, and I am definitely grateful for that. This stuff is not cheap to put out. Oh my God. Oh my God. So every little bit helps, and I am filled with gratitude that you're stepping up. I am not necessarily a joiner, not usually, but there are environmental issues in other organizations that I do belong to and I contribute to because I like to see them persevere. And I'm hoping you feel the same about this work. I hope you put it into practice in your life. That's another way that you could spread this work and help change our world, which is what I think it ultimately does. As you know, I think if everyone tuned into their soul senses, the world would be a much better place. So when you subscribe, it's a big yes vote for the content, and it helps spread the work across the planet. So when you put the lessons into practice and subscribe and like and share, you help me help you carry the lesson beyond you and me. And I am just really grateful. Legally speaking, this podcast is presented solely for educational, spiritual, and entertainment purposes. It is not intended as a substitute for medical diagnosis, treatment, or the advice of a physician, psychotherapist, or other qualified professional. You should not use this information to diagnose or treat a health problem or condition. Always check with your doctor. Thank you.